Hello everyone, here we are again for another exciting episode of Bad Dad by David Walliams. Now if you recall from last time, Frank has been invited to go back to see Mr. Big. Wasn't very happy about that, but of course, as Fingers said, nobody says no to Mr. Big. So let's see what happens. This one is called Pongy Cheese. That night at Auntie Flip's house, Frank soaked his pillow with tears. Flip heard him from the kitchen downstairs and brought him up a new pillow. She sat on the side of the little pink bed in her little pink spare room and stroked Frank's hair. Right now, young Frank, it's as if you are walking through a storm. But I promise you, in time, the rain will lift a little. It didn't. Day after day, Frank felt as if he were walking through thunder and lightning. He was bullied at school for having a father who was banged up. If anything went missing at school, he always got the blame. One particular unpleasant girl in his class said, "Frank's old man is a thief. It stands to reason he's a dirty little thief and all." But Frank knew in his heart that his father wasn't a thief. He was a good man who had done a bad thing. Dad had got himself into a mountain of debt trying to do the best he could for his son. Now Frank had to do the best for his father. But how? Auntie Flip's little house was overflowing with antique bits and pieces. There was barely enough room for Frank as every chair or table or cupboard was piled up with thimbles, porcelain dolls, leather-bound books, animal figurines, and old-fashioned teddy bears. Life with Auntie Flip couldn't be more different from how life had been with his father. She would sit over him as he did his homework, making sure he dotted every I and crossed every T. Sometimes she would even correct the teacher's spelling mistakes. "I'm sorry to say your history teacher is an ignoramus. He can't even spell buyer." They never ever had chips for tea. Instead, she would cook him one of her quiches, which the boy always found disgusting. Auntie Flip was queen of the quiche. The savoury pastry was about the only thing she or Frank ever ate. Her quiche recipes were not to most people's tastes. We had pickled onion and beetroot, curried egg and cabbage, pongy cheese and turnip, partridge, parsnip and pear, spam and more spam, eel and artichoke, prawn and seagull's egg, Brussels sprouts and goat's curd. After dinner entertainment was always a poetry hour, though this hour would often stretch to 2 or even 3. "This next one's called Ode to a Tree and it's by me," she would announce grandly before reading it out loud. oh tree, oh lovely, lovely tree, as you dance in the breeze with perfect ease, I think if only I could be so wondrously free, but it's plain to see I will never be a tree." Frank would pretend to be asleep. It was the only way to make her stop. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the unlikely pair became close. Frank grew to love his auntie. She had shown him kindness when he'd needed it most. When his father was sent to prison, Frank thought his mother might call him in. But she never did. Auntie Flip was all he had. Soon she and Frank had settled into a cosy routine. Friday evenings the pair of them would visit the local library where Flip worked, and Frank would forget his troubles for a while as he lost himself in the pages of books. He even learned to love poetry. Saturday mornings they would take a walk in the park. Flip would give the boy a coin to make a wish, but the wish never came true. His father stayed locked up in prison. Sunday morning, Flip would take Frank to church, which was just as well as they would be the only people there. Each night, Flip would shake out her lace tablecloth and set her little wooden dining table for two. When one night a third place setting was laid, Frank was naturally intrigued. "Super to see you again, young Frank," said the lady as the boy opened the front door. She was carrying a bouquet of wildflowers. "Hello, Vicar," said the boy. They stood there, looking at each other for a moment. "Oh, can I come in?" "If that is the vicar, please let her in at once," called Flip from the kitchen. "That makes a nice change," said the Reverend Judith. Flip wafted towards them, wearing her floatiest, floweriest dress. She became quite emotional upon seeing the flowers. "Oh, for me?" "Yes," said Judith. "I picked them myself." "Oh, no one has ever brought me flowers before. Oh, thank you so much." Flip sniffed the flowers and then instantly sneezed on them. "Oh, are you all right?" asked the vicar. Yes. I'm slightly allergic to flowers, but I love them." Flip arranged them in a vase on the dining table. She sneezed again, much louder this time. "So, you've never been married?" asked the vicar. "Married? Oh, I've never been kissed." "Really?" "Well, yes. Not once. All that romance nonsense passed me by years ago." It was such a sad thought to have lived a whole life without love that neither Frank nor Judith knew what to say. Fortunately, Flip broke the silence. "Let's all sit down for dinner," she announced, and the three took their places at the table. "I hope you like rabbit and dandelion quiche," said Flip. The boy grimaced. The vicar replied, "Oh, I've never tried it, but I'm sure it'll be delicious. Let me say grace." Flip closed her eyes in prayer, and so the boy did exactly the same. "Dear Lord, may you bless this quiche this night, and bless the special parishioner who cooked it. Amen." "Amen." "Amen," copied Frank, although he didn't know what amen actually meant. The vicar took a bite of her food and grimaced. "How's the quiche?" asked Flip. Oh, delicious," lied the lady. Somehow Flip's quiches were always rubbery and hard to bite into. "Wonderful. So how was church on Sunday, Reverend?" "Oh, Judith is fine." The pair giggled, and the boy felt like a gooseberry sitting between them. "How was church on Sunday, Judith?" The sneeze was much louder this time. "Oh, apologies, Judith. I think some of my sneeze juice sprayed over you." "Oh, no matter," said Judith, wiping snot from her eye. "Frank and I are so sorry we missed Sunday service. Tell Judith where we were, Frankie." "At a poetry society competition," sighed the boy, still bored at the memory of the weekend. "Oh, how well did you do?" asked the vicar. "Very well," replied Auntie Flip. "I came 97th. "Oh, congratulations! 97th indeed." "Thank you," Flip blushed. "How many entrants were there?" 98, said Frank. "Well, that's not bad," said Judith, trying to look on the bright side. "Our poetess got disqualified for biting another competitor," added Flip. "She said she'd stolen a rhyme. She rhymed gherkin with twerkin." "Oh, dear," said Judith, who suddenly seemed put off her quiche. "That was the only good bit." "Yeah, I agree with that," said Frank, with a smirk. "Oh, no, it wasn't really," said Flip. "As you can imagine, the Poetry Society has a zero-tolerance policy for biting." "Oh, I can imagine." "Oh, dear." Another noseful of snot flew across the dining table, drenching the vicar. "Shall we move the flowers?" "Oh, yes, that's probably a good idea. Frank, be a good boy." Frank picked up the vase and took it into the kitchen. "So how many worshippers did you have at church on Sunday?" asked Flip. The vicar looked hesitant to answer. "Just one," she said. "Oh, that's not too bad. At least one person came." "No, it was just me." "Oh, dear." "Oh, dear indeed." Frank came back into the dining room and announced, "You know, Dad and I will come to church every Sunday." The two grown-ups looked at each other, concerned. What was the boy talking about? His father was looking at a 10-year stretch in prison. He wasn't going to go to any Sunday service any time soon. "If you help me break him out of prison," said Frank. Well, there's a bit of a turn-up. Frank is going to ask the vicar and his Auntie Flip to help him break his dad out of prison. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And we'll see you next time for another exciting episode of Bad Dad by David Walliams. Thank you so much for listening. Take care, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye for now.